Hello and welcome to another episode of Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.
This week, Ted and I took on Playas.
I mean,
Netflix original, 1 hour, 45 minutes, stars. Oh, who does it star? Rodriguez.
It stars Gina Rodriguez. It stars Joel Courtney, who is from The Kissing Booth and other things. It stars from New Girl, Damon Wayans Jr., Tom Ellis as Nick, and he is from the show Lucifer. Augustus Prew is the one that plays Brannagan, the wacky one.
Right.
That's when I was like, oh, he's British? That's weird. I wouldn't have thought that.
Well, he's wacky.
He's wacky.
It should have been your first cue.
And then the last person, Liza Koshy. Liza Koshy. And she's she's just been in a bunch of stuff.
Okay, Ted read them off. And they came out a lot different than I would have read them off.
Oh, much different. Who knows what would have come out of your mouth?
Well, I got Rodriguez right. So
you did.
That's very, very common. Anyway, all right. Here's the scoop on this. Ted, why don't you get a synopsis? You want to do that, or you want me to?
I mean, I can.
Go.
I mean,
synopsis this movie up for our listeners.
This movie is about.
Hold on, I'm going to start that over again. Ted, synopsis this story up for our listeners. I think I said losers.
You did say losers.
Did I?
You can cut that out.
Anytime I misspeak, please step up and say, did you mean listeners?
Well, I felt like you would have done it in post, but I was just on a flow. Players is about a group of people that all work at, I guess, like a fake New York Times. It's like the Brooklyn Examiner or something. And they're all like supposed to be in their early 30s. And
it's print.
Huh?
It's print.
It's print. They work for a newspaper. They're in their early 30s. And the whole thing is they go out and they help each other run schemes to have like one night stands with people or 2 date stands with people. And Gina Rodriguez goes out with this guy who's just writes books, and he's an important journalist, and he's British and put together. And so she decides that they're going to run a scheme so that they can be together and she can get a drawer in his dresser. That's the synopsis.
Yeah. She's found true love for the first time in her adult life.
Such true love that she has to run a scheme to get him to ask her out 3 times.
Yeah.
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 And Damon Wayans Jr. plays her best friend that is by no means in love with her, and you can tell from like the second interaction they have. This movie
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes. This movie is Good Luck Chuck. It is Employee of the Month. It's any Dane Cook comedy from 05 to 08. It's Wedding Crashers.
Having said that, though, but it's not as good as any Dane Cook.
Any Dane. That is, I was getting to it.
I'm sorry.
It's
when you
not
went
as
Wedding
good.
Crasher, when you left Dane Cook, I was like, wait, I got to put the brakes on this because I'm not a big Dane Cook fan, but those movies
were better than this movie.
Yeah.
This movie is, it's not the actors' fault. They're all good. None of the actors was all like, oh, you're not very good. No, they're all good. It is a poorly written script about a tired-ass genre of rom-com. It felt dated. It felt like, what guy wrote this? Did a guy write it? I bet you $100,000 a guy wrote it, and then they got a girl to direct it.
Whit Anderson wrote it.
Okay. And Trish C.
And I don't know if Whit is a guy or a girl.
I think I looked up Whit Anderson because while I was watching it, I think he wrote Daredevil.
Okay.
Like the show Daredevil. He wrote on the show. I like the show Daredevil. Don't watch it a lot, but I've seen a couple. He's clearly a talented writer. This genre is just tired.
Did you feel this movie was slow? Was it an hour and 45 minutes in your viewing emotional?
I stopped it twice. Paige watched it with me and she's like, "When did they make this?" She was like, and like we like Damon Wayans Jr. I like all of those actors that I recognize. I like. And I was just like, I had nothing to blame. It was directed fine. The pacing was slow. You're correct. It could have been 25 minutes shorter.
So, in a nutshell, you're saying it's a romantic comedy that's in real life love timing. Because, things like in romantic comedies happen so fast, so whimsical, and
they don't.
And then this movie was just normal romantic timing of real life.
Right, and they didn't
because it was spread out. This time frame is weeks upon weeks.
Oh, it's months.
Yeah, so it's like it's having a little reality. They just picked out the good moments in that 3-4 month period and put it in this film.
Yeah, I just thought they were too old. These are people in real life for 40s.
Yes.
Like, it's weird. Like, if I were living in New York, I lived in New York.
This is coming from a guy who got married at 44.
I'm not 40, 43.
43. Oh, excuse
I just had
me.
I had a flashback to I was going to be like, I'm not 44.
And I'm like, Steve Martin from excuse me.
It just, if you were
I'm not 44.
I'm 43. If you were going to do this movie, what is that? There was a movie that Zac Efron did with Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan, like probably 10 years ago, that is this movie. But better. It was written better and done better because they were when you were okay, people. Okay. I am an adult child. I still have a Goonies stuff. My wife has made me put it in a box, but I still own it. And what I would say,
good for you, Paige.
I have a Goonies tattoo. I have One-Eyed Willie on my shoulder. So what I would say is, I am an adult child. I held off from getting married as long as I could because I wasn't ready. But I don't want to watch a movie about me. I don't want to watch that. No one does because it's not that interesting about an adult man-child. This movie would have worked better if everyone was like 28 years old.
Didn't we watch that with Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon? Wasn't that a movie we watched?
Yeah.
That 40-year-olds playing 20-year-olds.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing. I looked up their age because I was like, "What? How old are these people?"
Well, yeah, Gina Rodriguez is going to be 40 in July,
and Damon Wayans Jr. is my age almost.
Yeah,
he's like 41, 40. Is he 40?
Well, we can find out here. I mean, and by the way, for everybody that was concerned about our producer Rocky, we didn't actually fire him, and instead we actually promoted him. He's now the executive producer of the
which
show.
Means he doesn't do anything.
Exactly. He's 41. Yeah, there you go.
I just don't. To me, it's just like. Yeah, to me, it's just like, they're all too old. The only one that's age appropriate is the guy that plays the brother, Joel Courtney, the one that had that great Carnival Cruise Line shirt on.
Right.
Said Ship Shape. He's like 28. And the girl that he was his girlfriend in it, she's like 28.
Yeah, he is 28, and Liza was great. She was.
Yeah, they're both great. They were both honestly, they were my favorite part.
Yeah,
both of them.
Mine too.
Every time they were talking or flirting or whatever, I was like, that's great.
That was funny. They had good chemistry together.
Yeah, and he's the kid that was the lead of that movie Super 8.
I don't think I saw that.
What? The one that it's
not
like a Spielberg style movie, but J.J. Abrams made it.
Oh no! So that wasn't the one with Nick Cage.
No, dude.
No.
This is the Super 8.
Super 8. I didn't watch it. If I did,
it's amazing. You should watch it.
I'm blanking out if I've seen it. I was thinking the other day actually. I want to sit down. I want us to sit down. And let's try to ballpark, go through all the movies that we've seen in our life, not name them out, but say, you know what, in my life, I've watched 100 movies or 200. I know, the number's going to be up there.
It's like 25, 30,000.
I mean,
it's crazy. I've watched.
You're going to win this one.
I
know you
a lot
are.
Of stuff.
I'm not putting anything down on that, but I was thinking that the other day. I was like, how many movies? I was just trying to figure out how many movies have I seen.
Well, I keep wanting you to do the throwback episodes where we pick movies that came out.
Anytime you just say
we should watch Super 8. We should watch Super 8.
Okay, well, we'll find something that's on a streaming platform, and we'll look and see if Super 8's there, and then we'll watch Super 8. That's great.
It's so Spielberg, but not Spielberg. It's amazing.
Okay, all right. Unlike this movie, players.
I feel bad, but it's not their fault. God, Netflix just continuously keeps putting out schlock. I don't know why. Like
you're going to be harder on this movie than I am.
No, I just don't know why. Why do you keep putting out mediocre things with people of note in them? Like it's not the actor's fault, and it's super.
Would this been better had Lindsay
Lohan?
Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan would have been worse than this. Lindsay Lohan knows her lane. She knows her lane now.
I don't know. After, what was that? Irish Wish? Yeah.
This was better than Irish Wish.
And Falling for Christmas.
Falling for Christmas.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's the thing they're doing. Those are good examples. So Netflix is like, let's make a Hallmark movie, but let's make it not as good as a Hallmark movie. And I'm like, what?
Well, they need content.
I get it, but why don't you focus on quality every now and then? This could have been good. It needed a script rewrite. That's the problem, is the script.
The script.
It needed a rewrite.
I'm putting this movie in the $10 to $12 million budget.
Yeah.
Range.
Well, shot somewhere for New York City. So.
And no, I'm supposed to say, I took all that into account. And anywhere else, it would have probably been a $6 to $8 million budget. But I am. I'm going with 10 to 12 million on this film. I think that was money well spent. That's just what I'm saying.
For content.
Here's the problem I had in retrospect of this movie.
Okay.
I'm going to casting on this. I'm going to say, which you can talk to the obviously it's whoever, the director has the final say so, right?
No.
And
the producers have the final say.
Well,
unless you're a famous person, unless you're
right.
a famous director, but the producers have the final say. You know that.
Oh, well, all right. So as my final say would have been no on this cast. Not all of them. Joel Courtney and Liza Koshy. Mm-hmm. I would have kept them. But I think at that point, Augusta. I think Prew. He was good.
trying. He was trying.
He did all right.
He was
he would have been borderline.
He said to himself, "What choice can I make to make this interesting?" Which is sometimes a trap.
We just watched that movie, Self-Reliance. Yeah. Anyway, here's Damon Wayans. See, I can't do it.
You can't do that.
Junior. I got the Junior. I got Damon and Junior. So I got 2 out of 3. I would have replaced him with Jake Johnson. I would have replaced him with Jake Johnson. That's me.
You know what I would have replaced him with? Someone in their early 30s or late 20s. Not these 40-year-old men. Not people my age. Like, I could have played Augustus Prew and been like this goofy whatever, but like, it shouldn't. It should be people that are young.
Yeah.
The whole time I was looking at their apartments being like, you work as like a secondary article at a newspaper. You don't make enough money to have that apartment.
I also watching this movie. Anyway, I want to finish up with the casting. Here's the thing. When you make a movie, and I know somebody's going to get upset with me when I say this, and you have a problem, email Ted. Mm-hmm. Let it out to Ted.
Email it .com at Gmail.
I don't think we can say that. This is a family-friendly show. I'll put a
little bleep there.
Put Ted Actor at Gmail.
Yeah, it'll find me.
Anyway, you watch a romantic comedy. Your characters, your actors playing those characters, have got to be characters that your viewers fall in love with or could potentially fall in love with. And since you're talking about something that is so short in time, we're talking about, I mean, there's just got to be an instant attraction, both on the male and the female side of this thing, to your leads in this movie. Tom Hanks, he's a cute guy. He was a cute guy. Women liked Tom Hanks, right? Meg Ryan, she was a cute girl. Everybody fell in love with Meg Ryan, right? And it happened. And in French Kiss, who's the in French Kiss opposite Meg Ryan?
Gerard Depardieu.
No,
I always get it messed up. It's
not Klein.
No, it is Klein.
Yeah. Kevin Kline. He's a good back then, because that's what in 80 what 80,
90
95.
He's probably 70 now. Wouldn't you say, Kevin Kline?
He was a handsome man. Yeah, 75. So 30 years ago.
Timothy Hutton.
Yeah.
I did a show with Timothy Hutton 3 years ago. Click on him real quick.
All right.
Old Tim is
63.
Yeah, but he looks a lot older than 63.
Yeah. Well, that happens.
Like him, look at him in that lower left. That's
Yeah.
when I did the show with him.
Okay. When you were supposed to talk faster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, this is where I think the casting went wrong on this movie. Is Gina Rodriguez, I think she did a great job in this movie. But I think if you're doing a romantic comedy or a romance, because you're just dealing with a window of time in somebody's life, you've got to have somebody in there that's going to grab their attention. You know, love at first sight. I mean, that's how'd you meet it was love at first sight. That's probably, if we were playing Family Feud right now and Steve Harvey was asking me, the question of, thoughts when you first met your spouse,
love at
first sight would be the number one answer. Yeah.
I love Steve Harvey.
There would have been no strikes on that one. So, and number two would have been Hot Bod. Have you seen that recently, Family Feud?
I've seen it in the last few years.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
It's dirty.
Because he always gives him that funny look. He's like, what?
Yeah. I mean,
he's funny, dude.
He's very funny.
He has that comedic timing. He's a comedian, but his comedic timing as a host is next to perfect.
It's great. But anyway, this show lacked that. You lacked, and she's the principal, Gina Rodriguez. I mean, if you didn't catch on in the first 20 minutes like you should have, that Damon Wayans character, DW, boogity boogity boogie for our NASCAR fans. When you say DW, you got to say boogity boogity boogity. You could tell, that all right. There's your principals right there. Those two, but neither one of them in my book, and I'm fair. I mean, if I see a good-looking guy, I'm going to say, yeah, he's a handsome man, just like Kevin Kline. I mean, back in 1995, when he did French Kiss,
I mean, he's a handsome 76-year-old man. He's the same age as my dad.
He is, but I mean, not in that picture though.
No, he looks like he's
yeah.
You know who he's married to?
So no, I don't.
Phoebe Cates.
Oh. That's right. I did know that.
She just turned 60.
Phoebe.
Just turned 60.
Wow. That's a Fast Times at Ridgemont. Yeah.
That's a coming of age if I've ever had it.
Oh, thank you, Phoebe. Anyway, but that's what this movie lacked. That instant attraction. Sorry, it's the truth. I'm not saying she's unattractive. I'm not saying he's unattractive. But you know what? They're not somebody you're going to go, oh, wow.
I didn't necessarily buy that she was bagging dudes left and right. But what you're saying didn't bother me. It was more that...
Well, I wasn't worried about you. I was talking about the viewers.
Yeah, the viewer. I think the chemistry they had is immediately friend level.
Ted, the actor, at gmail.com.
Yeah. I just think their chemistry seemed very much like they are best friends. I didn't get that there's underlying... I mean, it's in the script, but their energy seemed like, hey, buddy, we're working today. That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
Which is fine. They're both funny.
Yeah, he didn't pull off the I'm deeply in love with you. I mean, it really took all the script in there of the other characters. Are you kidding? You didn't know? You know.
Yeah. The brunch scene was in there just for that.
Right. Right.
And by the brunch scene, Paige was like, why are they dancing together? And then they're like, oh, it's weird. Our two significant others are like looking at us like we're insane.
So anyway, yeah, that was my disappointment. And of course, I held on to that from the get-go. And I don't know what kind of influence it had on me for the rest of the movie, because I was fighting the fact that I'm just not attracted to either one of them or anybody in here. Now, Liza Koshy, very attractive. I thought was, okay, swap roles. Kind of like that.
That's, if those two, Joel, Courtney, and her, would have been the two other people.
Right.
The two leads.
Right. You think
because they're
worked.
28 years old,
Right.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
All the characters are too old. That's just the simple fact. The people that are playing the little brothers is a 30-year-old. It should have been, your little brother should have been like 22.
Yeah, more like Ryan Reynolds plays that music executive, and Anna Faris.
Just Friends.
Just Friends.
That's one of the best comedies ever.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah.
Young, executive,
18-year-old brother.
18, yeah, right. Just, finishing up his senior year. Right. Come home with, yeah. All right. Now, I didn't fall in love with her, and I don't find DW there, overly attractive.
But also, like, I don't want to put that out in the world. Like, you have to be drop dead models to be like romantic leads in something.
I'm not putting that out. I'm just saying, please, listeners, you got to understand. You're turning on something. You need a first impression. Mm-hmm. It's like you walk in and Steve O, I watched a clip of Steve O, and he went to Comedy Central and he made a pitch for a show. And he started off the pitch, and this was their first impression, by showing them a video of him rapping. Right?
Oh, it's bad,
and
too.
the show had nothing to do with that, right? But there was a lawyer in the room that represented somebody else that was big in the rap business, and they hooked up, and Steve O got a record deal. He got an album, and they shelved it.
The early 2000s were a time. I'll tell you that, people.
But he acknowledges that it was the first impression when he went in to do that show pitch at Comedy Central that probably killed it. Was because the first thing he led with was Steve-O rapping, So, and then the first impressions on this were, I can't fall in love with anybody, Then you get a third of the way through, and Liza Koshy shows up, and I'm like, oh, she's cute.
I think it's Liza.
Liza. Sorry.
This is like a gimmick you're doing.
No,
now.
it's
You're
not.
messing with me.
No, I'm sorry, Liza. But you're Lisa to me.
All right, let's get a number.
In my heart, yeah, let's do.
You've given this way too long. We've been on this way longer than it should be.
I am a 54, 5.4. If you want to go that direction. And there's a guy who does pizza. It's one bite.
Yeah, everybody knows the rules. One bite, everybody knows the rules. Dave Portnoy.
Yeah,
Barstool
right.
Sports.
And he does the point, 5 point,
5 point.
So anyway, it's a 5.4 for me in this movie.
Dead on. Dead on. 5.3, 5.4. Like, it's exactly what I said at the top. I go, I don't know if we said this on air or not, but I've never seen a Rotten Tomatoes score be more accurate.
But we were a little bit more generous, I think, than the Rotten.
It was 48, so we're a little more generous. It's not a 48.
No.
It's not a 48.
No, and I'm not adhering to Ted's I can't give anything less than a 50 rule. This is a legitimate 5.4. So.
Just so everybody knows, I tried to get Andrew to watch Fallout, the new Amazon show. which I know he's going to hate.
I'm going to. This has been a busy week. I
get it.
So
I ran through it.
One of those. How many?
I mean, like,
it's a series.
It's 8 episodes, and I watched them like 2 a night. I mean, I could have kept going, but I was like, I have to stop. But it's a video game, and I played the video game, and I enjoy like the sci-fi sort of dystopian,
right?
Atomic war future.
Well, you let me know if they make a movie out of the video game Defender. I'm there.
Or Pitfall. I bet you were there for Pitfall.
Monster truck. Rally truck. Monster,
Rally racer?
Something like it was 4-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah, and they were going around like that. Rally racer.
Yeah, no, we were up in Knoxville at the time when that video came out. Lost a lot of quarters in that machine. Anyway, all right, I'm a 5'4". Ted is a 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", but that's where we are. I'm never going to watch this again.
Never.
My complaint was casting on this. I didn't mind the script. I just thought it was a casting problem because I could never fall in love with anybody. I couldn't believe it. It was, so. And I say that. I'm in a preference. I have a beautiful wife, and I don't know why in the world she fell in love with me. Because, I mean, look who I look like. There's nothing special about that.
I know. I showed my friend, my actor friend Andreas, my old roommate from LA. I was like, you got to meet I was telling him a story about you because I was telling him one of your Rick Moranis stories, and he was like, "No way does he look that much like Rick Moranis." I go, and I pulled it up, and I go, "This is my friend." I go, he couldn't look more like Rick Moranis if he tried.
Yeah, I'll have to post something on the video version of the show, and it's a photo of Rick and myself, and let's see, I'm trying to pull it up here. I'm going into social media because it was one of those challenges, post a picture of you next to your doppelganger and so there we go.
I mean,
that's my blue heaven, and that's my headshot.
Oh. That's so dead on.
No, that's crazy. I'm gonna put that up.
Please post that. I'll repost that for sure.
I'm gonna do it on the our YouTube channel. I'll cut it into the video of so people can know that. Seriously.
Yep.
That's the exact same time. I mean, he's 13 years older than me there, and you can see a little age difference.
Well, you're like 13 in that
So
picture.
I'm 23. 23 years old in that picture, which that makes him 36. So, but that's scary.
You're also a lot taller than him, right?
No.
Really?
No. No, not at all.
He seems like he'd be 5'6".
No. If anything, I was probably maybe a half an inch taller. But
you know what I mean?
Pretty
much.
He
seems like he'd be short.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was about 5'8" and a half. I mean, but we all shrink when we get older. I mean, so anyway, there you go. That made you die, right?
This is great.
All right, everybody. We'll put the photo of Rick and I in the video on YouTube for this show. Maybe at the very end, we'll tag this, and get you to watch through. But thanks for listening to another episode of Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.